Good evening, family. Welcome, welcome guests to another No Limit Media Group for Kings Entertainment production. And like as I promised that I said I was going to do, I was going to do it either. I was going to do a live feed for the seminar, so to speak, how to invest in foreclosure homes. Okay. Let me get my light in here. See, okay. I want to take this up a little bit here. All right. So, again, sorry about that. Now, the reason, like I said, I was going to do either a live feed, or either I was going to get into do it on YouTube, do a video, upload it on YouTube, and you guys can go to my channel. So that's looked like it's what's going to happen because the space that I initially observed, there was kind of a scheduling conflict. They had some poetry reading that they were doing, so I couldn't get the space that I needed, and I wanted to put it on the on the board so that you could actually see the steps. But as such, I guess this would have to do. And again, the benefit is you can still play it back and get the information that you needed. It's not a lengthy process, but it's not a lengthy process. But by the same token, it's not something that I'm going to take you through and give you all the steps at once because I will have to. Some people are going to have questions. Some people are going to, want to know things. So my phone number, I will give you my phone number at the end of the broadcast, so to speak. And you call me if you have any questions. Now, a little bit about me. I was taught the process from a gentleman who worked in the banking industry for many, many years. And he worked as in the loan department, also as an auditor. His main job was as an auditor in the bank. So he got a chance to get really some good inside information, and he had things that most people don't know that exist within the banking world. Okay, so if you know anything about banks, all banks have a trust company. Okay, so trust companies are those people within that branch who have put their money. Basically, they are investors in the bank. Okay, and the way they make money is through the bank extended loans, getting a percentage from you, putting the money on the money market, open market, money market account overnight, making tons of money off the interest that they loan to foreign traders. Okay, or anybody who wants to get a loan for that matter. But that money is taken out and then put back into your account by the opening of business. So it's like it never went anywhere. Okay, it's the reason why they close at 5. So, and how to invest in foreclosures. The purpose. I'll start with the purpose. Is the reason I wanted to do this is because I was blessed, or I was fortunate enough to have been in the company of the guy. We'll just say his name is John. I call him John. Okay, so John seen me as a student. I would study a lot, but I would be studying a lot of things dealing with spiritual issues. And he seen the work ethic that I had. I said study. I had tons of books on top of books. I would take up a whole table just for studying. And so towards the end of my time in incarceration, I learned a lot. I learned a lot about law, UCC law, because it's Uniform Commercial Code, is the law that governs these things. Okay, because anytime you put money in and you send it overseas, that's you're dealing with maritime law. Okay, so, but that's another story. Not to get too far into that. Like I said, I was going to bring you and give you the information, but we're going to do this in a part. We're going to do this in a series because of the steps that's involved. So it will be the same time next week. I'll upload some videos. This time next time I want to put it on the board, and I'm just going to recap from this week's lesson. I'm going to put it up on the board so that you can see it, but also then we're going to move forward until the next step. So I'm going to give it to you in a maybe like a 3-4 part series, okay? Because it's a lot. Things you're going to need. You want to get a Black's Law dictionary so you can understand some of the terminology, because at some point in the process, you're going to be dealing with legalese or lawyers or attorneys, and certain things you just need to know. Like, for instance, a summary judge. What's a summary judgment? Who's the movement? What's a non-movement? Movement, M-O-V-A-N-T. You want to know things like that. You're going to want to know. You're going to have understanding of case law. It's really simple if you have the mind to. It's simple to understand. But the most you would have to do that really work is going out, canvassing the areas for the potential home that you're looking for in a particular area. So, and it's all, like I said, it's all through law. And if the law is not applied right, then that infers that there's a violation on the part of someone. So, law is there for a reason, and that's another reason why a lot of people don't make it like they think they should, because they don't have no law. At one time, it was cliche almost for people in this land to know the law of the land. This was for a purpose, so that you can know your full ability, you know your full rights and what you're fully capable of, and what you are able to and not able to do. And you could hold those who are so-called create these laws, you can hold them accountable too. All right. So to keep things in check, there's checks and balances. There's checks and balances. That's how the things operate. So I'm gonna do this in about. I'm gonna try to break it down so it can at least 20 minutes, maybe more. It shouldn't take that long, because like I said, what I'm gonna do is doing mostly reading it. Then you're gonna have to go back and write it down until I get back and I get a chance to get to next week. Like I said, and I might even photo snap some of these up in photo shots. But let's go right to it. And before I do that, I'd just like to give thanks and blessings to the Most High for allowing me to be here today, for allowing those who will see this video, will allow you to either have the eyes to see and the ears to hear. And he who hears, let him understand the reading of this. So I give praise and honor to the Most High. If you're, and the universe has brought a lot to me. When I say universe, and you may hear me say universe, creator. When I say that, I'm talking about the all in all, because he is the creator, of heaven and earth. So he, she, the divine connection, male and female, king and queen, divine rulership. So going into it, how to invest in foreclosure homes. And again, I apologize for not doing a live feed, because it's something I'm having a problem with keeping my videos, because once I upload it on Facebook, I'm having a problem retrieving it. So let me go through this here with you, and you're gonna read it. I'm gonna take it out. You're gonna take your pencil and paper and write down the first 2 steps. Okay, I'm gonna show you here. All right. Now this is a man here. Now I didn't even write. This is in my own writing, right? And when my teacher was taking me through it, my instructor, I wrote it down. I could have photocopied it, but for me, some things, there's just a power in writing, and I love to write, so that's why I did this. And it's when you write it with your own hand, it's a little different. There is a power in writing things down. They will manifest. Okay. The other thing is, if you don't have good credit, if your credit is not that good, you can go to Credit Karma. But this is just a general form. This is a paper version. Also, in this series, I'm going to get into that. I'm going to give you some pointers and some tips on how to fix that. So some people say, well, why are you not, charging for that? I don't charge for something that was given to me freely, because the same opportunity that um that I have to make it happen, I want to be able to share that so that you can make it happen for yourself. So it's not about ego with me, and it's not about me looking um, in the eyes of the next person and saying, he's really no. Flattery is not really that, but let's not get too far off the trail. Let's go ahead and get back to it. All right, how to invest in foreclosure homes. Okay, listen carefully. The first thing you want to do when looking for foreclosure homes is that you want to look for homes in middle class areas that are near schools, bus routes, shopping malls, supermarkets, churches, amusement parks, whatever. But you want to look in those areas because in those areas you may find the better homes, as opposed to on a lower income area. The property may be a little bit older, maybe a little bit more. It may need a little bit more work. And one of the first questions some of you might have is, how much is this? How much is this going to cost me? It's going to cost you as much as as much work as you're willing to put in it is the benefit and the rewards that you will reap. So it's going to cost you what you want to put into it. And when I say what you want to put into it, I mean that, of course, when people move out of places, it's not always immaculately left as in when it was, first moved into. So you might have to do minor things like get a bucket of paint and paint the walls, or take out some old carpeting, or something like that. But nonetheless, you would have the property. Okay, so that's what it's about, getting the property. And here it is. The thing is that you can only own up to three properties. You own up to three properties in your name before. Once you get to own your fourth home, you have to then form an LLC by law. Okay, so the first three, and those would be like your bread and butter. Okay, so you would never you would keep those, and those homes you would make sure that those are always tip top. Okay, and like I said, when you get to the fourth one, you would have to start an LLC. You can't have 4 homes in your name. You can only have up to 3. I don't care where you stay: California, Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, Alabama, Mississippi, Montana, Florida. It doesn't matter. This law applies across the land because it's Uniform Commercial Code. And before I do that, you can easily check it out. Okay, you can Google it online. But let's get to it. Okay, the first thing, like I said, look for those foreclosures in those middle class areas that are near schools. Because people need that may have children. Okay, you typically want to look for 2 3s, 3 2s. Homes that are near shopping centers, bus routes, things like that. That's the first step, plain and simple. Look for foreclosure homes in middle class area near schools, supermarkets, churches, malls, bus routes, etc. 1B. Now I'm reading this to you and I'm giving this to you, so you write it as it. 1B. Step 1B. There are 2 ways to obtain these types of properties. Cold canvassing, area B1 or section B1. Cold canvas areas in your county that meet the types of homes that you are looking for. Some signs to look for are tall grass, high grass there because the yard may not have been mowed, mail at the door or overflowing mailbox, newspapers in the yard. This property, more than likely, if there's not a full set, it's in foreclosure. Okay, so what you want to do then is you want to write down the full address of that property. All right, so that's the first step. Look for the homes in those areas: schools, malls, shopping centers, churches, bus routes, etc. 2 ways to obtain it easily. Cold canvass the area, looking for some signs that the property no one is living there. Tall grass, mail in the mailbox overflowing, newspapers in the yard that haven't been picked up in a while, and so on. Also, now, write down the full address. Number 2, each courthouse has what's known as, and this is where it starts to we're going to get into. Each courthouse Okay, no matter what county you live in, each courthouse has a clerk of courts window, right, or clerk of courts that has a list called the list pendant. List pendant, LIST, and I put that in parentheses, PENDITT, list pendant. Okay, the cost for a list pendant, and this was general. This is back in 2014, so the cost is $1 per page. Okay, each page has 10 listings on it. All right, 10 listings. You get $1 per page, 10 listings. All right, so this list is also it's by date. So, example, you want to get a list of the foreclosures that are going to be auctioned off. You want to get a list of those that are going to be auctioned off within 2 to 6 months, okay, of the present day. So if you went yesterday, you go tomorrow on the 28th of December. You want to look for homes that's going to be auctioned off between February and June. Okay, 2 to 6 months. They're on and about. Okay, the list has what's known as a folio number or portfolio number, FOLIO. All right, the folio number. Okay, you're gonna take that number, the folio number. You're gonna take that number, take it to the window that allows you to view the file. You got to have that folio number to view the file that you're looking. So those 10 listings, you're gonna say, okay, this one, and this one is what I want to look at. All right. Now, when you take that to the window again, it allows you to view the file. The file has the bank name, phone number, and the person's whose name is on the mortgage. Okay? Bank name, that file has the bank name, the phone number, and the person's whose name is on the mortgage. Okay. So when you get that list, there's another place. There's a room that you will go in. She's going to give you the file. You take the file. You go sit in a room. You look through it. Okay. Okay. Now you pick out the ones you want. All right. When you do that, now you're on, and I'm going a little farther here. Now, the next thing you want to do is what you will be looking for in that file is a document called the note. Remember that. This is very important. And those are going to be one of those terms that I tell you about when it comes to law. You want to be familiar with note. Just like on a dollar, it says debt note. Okay. Inside this folio, you're going to have that note in there. And that note is like the promissory note. This is separate from the mortgage documents. That has nothing to do with it. You're looking for it. It's going to say the note. You're looking for it. What you want is the name of the original bank or lender that had the note. Listen to me clearly and get this carefully. You want to get the name of the original bank that had the note. You will be able to find that inside of the folder. When you get it and look at it, you'll see what I'm talking about. Then you want to check that name of the bank that currently has the note. If they are not the same, so for instance, if it was ABC Bank was the original holder or the original holder of the note, and you look in there, right, and you see that the name of the bank is there, but then you check the name of the bank that currently has the note. So ABC is original, DEF now has it. Okay, in between that process, in between those two different entities, those two different banks or loan companies, there should be a transfer, this note from the original over to the current holder. That's the note, for instance, like this. Okay, this is just a blank piece of paper. Say this is the note. It is here. All right. Now, ABC is the original holder. DEF now has it. So when you look in there, the original holder of the note should be ABC. But if DEF has it, there should be a transfer. A transfer of note. Excuse my handwriting here. A transfer of note from one, meaning that from one party to the next party. This is kind of this is the area that they play in on some occasions. All right. What you want is the name of the original bank that had the note. You'll be able to find it in that folder that file you pull. Then check the name of the bank that currently has it. If they are not the same, listen. If they are not the same, then the note must be a transfer of note. What I just said, there must be a transfer of note. If it's not the original holder who has it, because the original holder would just have the note. If somebody else has stepped in and they have sold the loan off, then there should be a transfer of note from him to him, from him to her to him. Okay? The transfer of note. And in that transfer of note, that document in that file, or one that has not been stamped, notarized, that is the property. Listen, and this is it, and I'm going to stop it right here. That is the property that you want. The property that does not have a transfer of note in it. You're looking for the original file, you're looking for the original holder, the original bank, okay? And you're going to look and see. You'll be able to find it. Then check the name of that bank that currently has the note. If they are not the same, then the note must be, by law, must be, okay? This is a ruling case. This is a ruling case here in Florida. Okay, you might can see this is a ruling case here. Okay, right there. Let me show you that. That says right there. It says that. You see that? Gary Richards, C. Richards, v. HSBC Bank. HSBC is not even not an American bank. It's an English. It's an English entity. So they are the appellants. Gary C. Richards is the appellate versus HBSC Bank USA as trustee for PHH 2007-2. They are the appellee. This case was June 22nd, 2012. Now, here, I'm going to read you a little of the background. The bank brought foreclosure action against mortgager. The Circuit Court of Citrus County, Judge Carol Favey, entered final summary judgment. And the summary judgment is another way of saying entering a quick judgment based on material fact without going through any real litigation. Okay. Holding. The District Court of Appeal, Judge Evander, held that genuine issue of material fact as to whether the bank owned and held the note and mortgage precluded summary judgment. So I'm going to break that down to you and let you understand that. That the genuine issue of material fact as to whether the bank owned and held the note and the mortgage precluded the summary judgment. Precluded the summary judgment. Okay, so that means after the fact. Reversed and remanded means they overturned this case, HSBC, they overturned it, okay, reversed and remanded. Now, I'm going to read the proper party withstanding to foreclose a note and mortgage is the holder of the note, i.e., that means that the only person that can foreclose on it is the person who has the holder of the transfer of note or the original note. It says, withstanding to foreclose a note, the proper party withstanding, which has the grounds to foreclose a note or mortgage, is the holder of the note. So ABC was the original holder, but they sold it off the loan. They sold off the loan to DEF. If DEF is the holder of the note and mortgage, or the holder's representative, which may be an attorney, a party seeking foreclosure of a note and mortgage must present evidence. Must present evidence Okay? They can't just say it. They must present evidence that it holds the note and mortgage in question in order to proceed with its foreclosure actions. So, as a secondary party, if DEF does not hold that proper paperwork, transfer note, then they can't foreclose on the property because in question it's against foreclosure actions. Now, production of bond. Now this is case mortgage. This deals with weight and sufficiency. I'm gonna show it to you down here. I hope you can see it right here. Evidence. Okay, you see that? All right, look at that. All right, so I'm gonna let you see it. Let me fold it up a little bit. Yeah, forgive me for the camera angles, but like I said, I'm gonna do some snapshots and I'm gonna upload this stuff too. So, a plaintiff in a mortgage foreclosure action, the plaintiff must tender the original promissory note to the trial court or to seek to reestablish the note under the statute governing enforcement of a lost, destroyed, or stolen instrument in order to show that it holds a note and mortgage in question. Now I know this is foreign to some of you, and some of you are going to have questions. That's why I said that I will give you my phone number. I break it down to you. I'm trying to break it down in the video to show you. Okay, like I said, it's a process, and I could go through it and rapidly and read off all these steps, but you would be lost if you don't, because you don't understand the legalese, and then you're going to have more questions. You're going to be saying, well, how does this work? And is this against the law? Well, look, that's why I brought law with me. I brought case law with me to show you. It's like that in any state. I could go anywhere in the Union of the United States of America Corporation and use these laws. It's the same across the board. I don't care if you're in New York or whatever. This is governed. This is law. A plaintiff in a mortgage foreclosure action must tender. Okay, so here's the plaintiff, HSBC Bank. They must tender the original promissory note to the trial court in order to establish the note under the statute. In order to even get it in, they must have the original promissory note. You know why they don't have the original promissory note? Okay, they don't have it. DEF doesn't have it because they wasn't the original holder, right? So in order to circumvent the process, what they do is, okay, here, put a transfer note in. Now DEF is the holder. Okay, the note under the statute governing enforcement of a loss. So if they say that, oh, I lost it's lost, we can't find it, or it got destroyed or stolen, the stolen instrument, in order to show that it holds the note and mortgage in question, they must produce it. Now, some of them, what they'll do, because they get real crafty, and this is why you have to brush up on it. This is not something that you just run out and do. You have to study this. I'm giving it to you as it was given to me. And why am I giving it to you free of cost? Because it all belongs to the Creator. It doesn't belong to me. It doesn't belong to the banks. This is the law of land. All of it belongs to Him and the whole earth. You see what I'm saying? So I'm here to share it because I'm not about greed. I'm not about greed, and I'm not about selfishness. I'm only sent here as a messenger to give the word, whether it be through finances, whether it be through political issues, whether it be through educational, whether it's through social status, doesn't matter, whether it's through psychosocial, whatever it is. I'm here to break down the information, give it to you so that you can understand it and that it can be used to benefit you. Now, we've only went through the first two steps in the process. This is only the first two, because there's some things in between there. I can tell you that it's 15 steps, but it's not just like ABC, go and do this, that, and that. No, you got to get in and understand the lingo. That's why I told you it's going to be a series. All right. Now, again, from the top, from going back, okay, what you would be looking for. Now, let's recap. Look for the houses in the specific area, churches, schools, supermarkets, You're going to obtain them by one or two ways. You're going to cold canvas the area that you selected, or you can go on a website. You can pull it up, boom. You know, certain address. That'll save you some time, because it's going to involve time. That's why I say when it's going to cost you something, it is. All right, and if you have a 9 to 5, and you got a family, you know, it's not always feasible for you to be able to take time off of work to go down to the courthouse. So as such, and I'm just now coming to the point to where, you know, I've been fortunate to where I could go at it full time, because I had the same issue with being employed and trying to do this. So in essence, you have to give up something in order to get something. Okay, you have to believe and trust in that which you know. Believe and trust in that which you know, and it will produce that which you thought that it was to be, but only through knowing and only through knowledge and application of the knowledge. That's where the wisdom comes in at. So you got the video, you can play it back. I've only went through the first 2 steps of the process, but I'm going to go back over step number 2. What you will be looking for in the file is a document called the note. This is very important. This note is this note right here. What's the collateral for it? The trust company's money. Okay, so that's why they would have an issue with the bank selling off a loan without their prior consent. And no president of a bank wants to go back and call the trust company in for an emergency meeting because he's trying to transfer this particular property. They're going to say, hold on, hold up, wait. We doing what? We need to do what? No, absolutely not. In the banking world, it doesn't work like that. They're going to start wondering, and now they're taking their money out. Now the president is not looking like he knows what he's doing. So what they do, they circumvent the law. That's how they operate. They circumvent the law for their purposes, and this is just all wickedness. That's why I told you Romans 8:19 says, "For the earnest expectation of the creature waiteth for the manifestation of the sons of God." And that's a business term. That's a business term. Creature in Romans 8:19 is a business term. So when you look you can go to a Strong's Concordance and you can look up the word creature. And this particular one I had, in italicized in there, it has proprietorship and manufacture. And I said, hold up. I said, wow, I can't believe this. All this time that I've read this particular piece of scripture, it talked about, you know, creature. And you ask the average person what's a creature, they're not going to tell you that it's an entity. All right. Also, hold on. You give me 1 second here, because I'm going to show you something. 1 second. I'll be right back. Right there. Okay. So now, because I had to do my little study in here. So now, this here. Okay. And this is FYI. This is just an FYI. And I know, and I apologize for those who may have been waiting on me for the live feed, but you're gonna have to go to my YouTube channel, El Netaru, and you're gonna have to get the full